Welcome back to Green Earth VN, the place where we uncover the biggest environmental threats, hidden dangers, and shocking truths about our planet. Today, we'll revisit 10 of the most terrifying environmental disasters in the last 50 years events that changed the world forever, claimed millions of lives, and left lessons humanity cannot ignore. Let's begin. 1. The Chernobyl nuclear disaster, 1986. Our journey into the past begins on April 26, 1986, in what was then Soviet Ukraine. A catastrophic explosion at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant's reactor, unleashed a wave of destruction unlike anything the world had ever seen. A flawed reactor design and inadequately trained personnel led to a power surge during a safety test, causing a steam explosion and a subsequent open-air reactor core fire. This fire burned for days, releasing a plume of radioactive material that was 400 times greater than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The immediate aftermath was chaos. Brave first responders, firefighters, and plant workers battled the invisible enemy of radiation, many sacrificing their lives in the process. The nearby city of Pripyat, a bustling home to 50,000 people, was evacuated within 36 hours. Its residents forced to leave everything behind. They were told it would be temporary, but they never returned. Pripyat became a ghost city overnight, a haunting monument to the disaster. In total, over 350,000 people were displaced from a vast exclusion zone that remains largely uninhabitable. The long-term consequences are devastating, with increased rates of cancer, birth defects, and other health issues plaguing the population for generations. The radioactive effects are still present today, a stark reminder that mismanaged technology can destroy not just a city, but an entire nation. 2. The Indian Ocean tsunami, -2004, on the morning of December 26, 2004. The world witnessed the terrifying power of nature in its rawest form. Deep beneath the Indian Ocean, a massive 9.1 magnitude earthquake ruptured the seabed off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia. It was the third largest earthquake ever recorded, releasing energy equivalent to 23,000 Hiroshima-type atomic bombs. This colossal underwater shift displaced an enormous volume of water, generating a series of devastating tsunamis, waves traveling at the speed of a jetliner, some reaching heights of over 30 meters, crashed into the coastlines of 14 countries. The destruction was swift and absolute. Entire coastal communities in Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India, and Thailand were wiped off the map in minutes. The human toll was staggering, with an estimated 230,000 people killed, making it one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history. The environmental impact was equally catastrophic, as saltwater intrusion contaminated freshwater sources and agricultural lands, and entire ecosystems like mangrove forests and coral reefs were obliterated. The 2004 tsunami was a brutal lesson. No matter how advanced our civilization becomes, nature is always stronger than us. 3. The Amazon rainforest fires to 2019 and 2019. The world watched in horror as the lungs of the planet burned. The Amazon rainforest, a vital ecosystem that produces 20% of our oxygen and houses 10% of the world's known biodiversity, was engulfed in an unprecedented number of fires. For months, vast swaths of the forest were ablaze. The smoke was so thick and widespread that it blotted out the sun and plunged São Paulo, a city over 2,500 kilometers away, into daytime darkness. While some wildfires are a natural part of the forest cycle, the 2019 fires were overwhelmingly man-made, driven by illegal deforestation for cattle ranching, logging, and agriculture. An estimated 906,000 hectares of precious forest were destroyed, an area roughly the size of Puerto Rico. The loss of life was immense, with millions, perhaps billions, of animals killed, including jaguars, monkeys, and countless species of insects and birds. These fires not only released massive amounts of carbon into the atmosphere, accelerating climate change, but also pushed the entire Amazon ecosystem closer to a tipping point from which it may never recover. The message was clear and terrifying. Humans are burning the lungs of the planet. 4. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill 2010. On April 20th, 2010, a disaster of industrial proportions unfolded in the Gulf of Mexico. A surge of methane gas from the Macondo prospect well caused a massive explosion on the Deepwater Horizon oil rig. owned by Transocean and leased by BP. The blast tragically killed 11 workers and engulfed the rig in flames before it sank 2 days later, leaving the wellhead on the seabed, gushing oil uncontrollably. For 87 agonizing days, the world watched as an estimated 4.9 million barrels of crude oil spewed into the ocean, creating the largest marine oil spill in history. The oil slicks spread to cover an area larger than the state of Oklahoma, devastating marine life from the deep sea to the coastal marsh. Dolphins, sea turtles, seabirds, and countless fish were poisoned and killed. The economic impact on the Gulf's fishing and tourism industries was catastrophic. BP ultimately paid over $65 billion in cleanup costs, fines, and settlements. The Deepwater Horizon disaster served as a grim testament to the fact that our heavy reliance on oil comes with enormous and potentially catastrophic risks. 5. Mega drought and famine in Africa. While some disasters are sudden and explosive, others are a slow, creeping crisis. In the Horn of Africa, countries like Kenya, Somalia, and Ethiopia have been gripped by the worst drought in over 40 years. Multiple consecutive failed rainy seasons have turned once fertile land into barren dust bowls, triggering a devastating famine that puts millions of lives at risk. Crops fail year after year, and livestock, the primary source of wealth and sustenance for many communities, are dying in droves. Millions of people, including a heartbreaking number of children, face acute starvation and malnutrition. This is not a simple cycle drought. It is a crisis, profoundly amplified by climate change. Rising global temperatures are disrupting weather patterns, making droughts more frequent, more prolonged, and more severe. The suffering in the Horn of Africa is a harrowing look into a world impacted by a warming climate. It proves that climate change is not a distant future threat, it's happening right now. 6. The Arctic ice melt crisis. At the top of our world, a silent catastrophe is unfolding at an alarming rate. The Arctic is warming 4 times faster than the rest of the planet, and the consequences are global. The vast sheets of sea ice, which act as the planet's air conditioner by reflecting sunlight back into space, are disappearing. Every summer, more ice melts than the last, and the remaining ice is younger and thinner. This has a devastating impact on Arctic wildlife. Polar bears, the iconic symbol of the region, are starving as the sea ice platforms they rely on to hunt seals vanish beneath their paws. But the crisis extends far beyond the Arctic. As the massive ice sheets of Greenland and Antarctica melt, they pour trillions of tons of water into our oceans, causing global sea levels to rise. This poses an existential threat to the more than 600 million people living in low-lying coastal cities and communities around the world. From Miami to Mumbai to Ho Chi Minh City, the message could not be clearer. Melting ice means sinking cities. 7. Extreme air pollution in Delhi and Beijing. For millions of people in megacities like Delhi, India, and Beijing, China, the simple act of breathing has become a daily hazard. In recent years, these cities have experienced air pollution catastrophes where the air quality index AQI has soared to apocalyptic levels. At heat's worst, the AQI has surpassed 1,200, more than 20 times the level considered safe by the World Health Organization. During these severe pollution events, a toxic smog blankets the cities, reducing visibility to just a few meters and forcing residents to stay indoors. Schools are closed, flights are canceled, and hospitals are overwhelmed with patients suffering from respiratory ailments. The long-term exposure to such toxic air, filled with particulate matter from industrial emissions, vehicle exhaust, and crop burning, is a public health crisis. It is estimated to reduce the life expectancy of residents by several years. This is a disaster of our own making, a chilling reality where we are literally breathing ourselves to death. 8. Global deforestation. Every single year, our planet loses around 10 million hectares of forest, an area roughly the size of Iceland. This relentless destruction, known as global deforestation, is driven primarily by the expansion of agriculture, logging, mining, and infrastructure projects. While this crisis unfolds across the globe, its epicenters are the tropical rainforests of the Amazon, the Congo Basin, and Southeast Asia. These forests are not just collections of trees. They are complex ecosystems that regulate climate, produce oxygen, and provide habitats for 80% of the world's terrestrial biodiversity. As we chop down these forests, we are pushing countless species like tigers, elephants, and orangutans toward extinction by destroying their homes. Furthermore, deforestation is a major driver of climate change, accounting for nearly 20% of global carbon dioxide emissions as the carbon stored in trees is released into the atmosphere. The stark truth is this: when the forests disappear, the planet's stability disappears with them. 9. Ocean plastic pollution crisis. Our oceans are choking on plastic. Each year, an estimated 8 million tons of plastic waste, equivalent of one garbage truck full every minute, are dumped into our marine environments. This plastic doesn't go away. It breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces, creating a toxic plastic soup that contaminates every corner of the ocean, from the surface to the deepest trenches. The impact on marine life is heartbreaking. We see haunting images of whales found dead with 40 to 80 kilograms of plastic bags and debris in their stomachs, mistaken for food. Sea turtles, seals, and birds become entangled in discarded fishing nets and plastic packaging, leading to injury, drowning, and starvation. But the threat is also invisible. Microplastics, tiny fragments of degraded plastic, have infiltrated the entire food web. They have been found in the seafood we eat, the salt we use, the water we drink, and even within the human body in our blood, lungs, and even the placentas of newborn babies. We are now facing the horrifying reality that we're eating the waste we throw away. 10. Coral bleaching. Great Barrier Reef. Beneath the waves off the coast of Australia lies one of the world's greatest natural wonders, the Great Barrier Reef. This vibrant, sprawling ecosystem is the largest living structure on Earth. Visible even from space, it supports an incredible 25% of all marine life. But this underwater paradise is dying. Over the last 25 years, the reef has lost more than 50% of its coral cover due to a phenomenon called mass coral bleaching. Corals have a symbiotic relationship with tiny algae that live in their tissues and provide them with food in their brilliant colors. When ocean waters become too warm due to climate change, the corals become stressed and expel these algae, turning bone white. If the water temperature doesn't return to normal quickly, the bleached corals will starve and die. We have witnessed multiple mass bleaching events in recent years, each more severe than the last. The death of the Great Barrier Reef is an ecological tragedy of immense proportions, a clear signal that losing coral means losing ocean life. These disasters are not distant tragedies. They are warnings, and unless we change, the next disasters will be even worse. They are interconnected symptoms of a planet under extreme stress from human activity. But there is still hope. Hope lies in our collective will to act. Every small action matters, from reducing our consumption and waste to advocating for stronger environmental policies. Every step counts. Which disaster shocked you the most? Leave your comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support Green Earth VN.